been so good to preach to you this morning, and I really appreciate how well you've listened. God has spoken to my heart, at least.
Amen.
You know, churches are so different, though. Our services in Africa are so different than we have here. In fact, if I could tell a story, just a few months ago, in a little village called Koje, I was preaching when it began to rain. And it didn't just sprinkle. It came down in buckets. Buckets of rain. Like a flood. And our little church there in Koje just has a grass roof. And it wasn't just a few more minutes of my preaching that rain began to drip through the roof. And people began shifting to the right in their little benches and shifting to the left. It was very distracting. But it really got exciting when after the rain continued, a large, poisonous black mamba snake fell out of the rafters. Then the whole church bailed. They were falling out and jumping out the windows, running for every door. And it was right then and there I realized our little church needs a metal roof. I'm thinking at that moment it's about $150. And friends, there's no way that poverty-stricken Africans are going to afford a metal roof for that church. But you know, maybe God would lay it on your heart this morning. Maybe God would speak to you to help meet that need. I know He's able. Pastor, I thank you for the time this morning.
Thank you, Brother Washer.
Now I know, folks, after one sacrificial offering, doing another one is asking a lot. But think of those Africans, and think of that church service.
Amen.
And think of those that could be reached for Jesus with just a little sacrifice.
That's right.
Just a little bit. If you could just help out and just dig deep and think, what can I give to help those Christians in Africa?
I think the idea hit us all at the same time. We all looked at Mom, who was smiling for the first time since Christmas. As soon as the service was over, we got outside and we started talking a mile a minute.
Sammy, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I am. If you're thinking what I'm thinking,
I think we're all thinking the same thing.
we need to give our money to that missionary.
How much of it do you want to give?
All of it, of course.
Well, how are we going to get it?
Let's take him to the Miller house. That's where he's staying.
How did you know that?
Simple. I asked the pastor.
We quickly walked the rest of the way home. I grabbed the money envelope that had been sitting untouched on the kitchen table for 2 weeks. Immediately, we set out again. It was a long walk, but we finally got to the Miller's house just as Mr. Washer was putting his suitcase in the car.
Sir, me and my family would like to have a talk with you.
With me? I'm just visiting the area. I'm not from here.
We know that, sir, but we still need your help.
Help? Well, let me see here. I might have a little money. I can see if I can do something for you.
Oh, sir, we don't want your money. We just want to get rid of some money. Here.
Say, are you kids in some kind of trouble?
We sure are.
Where did all this money come from?
All over town. We have to do all kinds of things to get it.
Yeah, sometimes we just have to stop people right on the street.
Oh, really?
Did y'all give the money to Mr. Washer yet?
We're trying, Mom.
Mr. Washer, how do you all know my name?
We heard you in church this morning.
Oh, now it's making a little more sense.
We tried to get rid of it once before, but it didn't work. Well, we want you to have it so that you can tell lots of people about Jesus.
Yeah, so can you take our money and add it to your offering?
Is this all right with you, ma'am?
Yes, they worked hard to earn it, and they want you to have it.
Is this money that you need for your family?
Mister, don't you worry about us. We're really, really rich. And there's a lot more than that came from it. It's true, Mom. God gave us that money. He's got lots more.
You know, God's gonna meet this need. You're right, son, he does have more. Could I ask what your names are?
Oh, we'd rather not say. Please don't tell anybody you do this.
Just remember us as
As
the richest family in town.
We were a different family after that. I think we floated all the way home, singing, laughing, thanking the Lord for his goodness. Much to our surprise, we began to get more requests for Grandma's famous fudge. And before long, we had quite a little family business. Then, one Sunday night, several months later, we got another surprise.
For our missionary letter that I'd like to read tonight, I just received it on Friday. It says, "Dear friends, I've enclosed a picture of our church in Kojay. Thanks to you, we have a brand new roof, a brand new snake-proof metal roof. We had our first service in our new building last Sunday. Even though it was raining, 8 people got saved at the end of the service. And let me add a special thanks to one of your families who went the extra mile to help with this project. They only identified themselves as the richest family in town. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your unusual sacrifice. Yours for souls, Dallas Washer." Well, I think perhaps Brother Washer got our church mixed up with one of his other sending churches, but I still really appreciate all of you that sacrificed for those in Africa.
Ever since that night, all those years ago, I realized that I'm a member of the wealthiest family in the universe. You see, my father owns it all. Oh, now, we still had our share of hard times, but the Lord always provided. I even made it through 4 years of Bible college, and you'll never guess who paid for it. Grandma. Well, Grandma's famous fudge. And today, I'm the president of Grandma's famous fudge factory. I guess through the years, we've made an awful lot of money, but we never held on to much of it. But we have started several churches, and we've supported hundreds of missionaries all over the world. Now, it never made a whole lot of sense to me to keep it all down here when I could send it up on a hill. You know, 1,000 years from now, it's not going to matter to a hill of beans what kind of clothes I've got on or how much money I've got in the bank. The only thing that really matters is my relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's the greatest treasure there is.
story, my eyes get watery. The punch in the gut that family had. But the truth of giving and where that comes from, and the greatest gift was the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, unfortunately, even in America, we've lost what that means. Most people don't really know what Christ is about. They just think of him as a baby in a manger. And they don't understand how much he gave and how he sacrificed. They don't think of that, and we're not even really exposed to that as much anymore. And so I would say that only the Christian, only those who truly know Christ, I don't mean just the one who claimed to be a Christian, but those who truly are born again, understands what giving is like. And more importantly than that, understands the blessing. It is more blessed to give than to receive. The richness, as our narrator said at the end, the reward of paying it forward and giving it on ahead. That comes through knowing Christ and having the hope of heaven, of knowing that investing in people around the world, and you'll see them again, whether you ever see them here now or not. But again, that only comes from knowing him personally, to have that relationship, that salvation experience yourself. And that is the most important thing. And so as he said a little bit ago, 1,000 years from now, it's not going to mean a hill of beans. Well, what does that mean, 1,000 years from now? You know, a lot of us are living from day to day or year to year, but where are you going to be 1,000 years from now? You won't just be in the grave. Where are you going to be? That's the question you should know. You should know the answer to. And you should know it in a positive way. There is a heaven and there is a hell. And salvation doesn't come through religion. Salvation doesn't come through a church, not even this one. Salvation comes through a person, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ. We have some books that we like to give out. They're called Done. Some of you may already have a copy of this, but if you don't, please grab one. There's some on the back table. Some of the men in the church might have some in their hand to give out. But done versus doing. Religion is doing. Religion is all about trying to please and trying to get enough balance over on the good side to outweigh the bad side. That's religion. But done is about Jesus finishing it on the cross and becoming the sacrifice for sin, the payment, the gift, not with strings attached. It's not really a gift unless it's free. And so salvation has to be a gift received, and not a religion that you earned. So I'll ask you, do you know Christ as your Savior? If you died, where would you go? Maybe this service tonight was for me to ask you that question. For you to have to think about that question. And I hope it, in a kind way, I hope it bothers you until you get it settled. That you know Christ as your Savior. We do thank you for coming tonight. And if you want to talk to me or anybody about spiritual things, please do so. Please let me know. I'll be glad to visit with you about that. We're not trying to build our numbers in this church, but we are trying to get people into heaven. That's what it's all about. So thank you again to all the people who worked hard. My daughter put a lot of this together. My wife, who's been sick for 3 months, probably because she's been so nervous about this. But they all did a great job, and I appreciate each and every one of them. And thank you for coming tonight to be a part of it. Let's close in prayer, and there's some brownies, cookies, coffee, punch for everyone to enjoy. Thanks. And by the way, this group over here, good job. I wasn't really sure how this was going to work, so I just ignored it. Thank you. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for our time together tonight. We thank you for the program. We thank you for the story. We thank you for, most of all, the gospel and salvation. The good news, the hope, the real reason for the season, and the meaning to life. Thank you for, and I just want to say personally, thank you for helping me to understand what really brings happiness, what really brings contentment and satisfaction. And help us all to gain more of that and understand it better as we give like you gave. And I pray for the one that might be here tonight, does not know you, could not tell you that they are saved, could not say that they are on their way to heaven. And if they died today, they wouldn't go. Lord, I pray for that person that they would come to you soon. And we thank you for so many who already have. I pray for more to come. In Jesus' name, amen. We're dismissed. Please stay and get some brownies.